Question for the panel. Is there someone currently tasked with the responsibility of overseeing these settlement agreements to make sure that they're appropriately entered into and used? And then is it the Office of General Counsel, Special Counsel, someone with the VA? I also want to know if there are audits being conducted and if these audits are available to the public or to the VA committee as well. So who wants to go first?
I'll take that question, Congressman. VBA has several levels of review prior to entering into settlement agreements. HR directors, EEO managers, the Office of General Counsel, the Office of Regional Counsel, as well as senior leadership are all consulted for guidance before entering into these agreements. We do that to make sure that they're correct in terms of legal sufficiency, they're cost effective, and also in the overall interest of our employees, our veterans, and our taxpayers. So we look at it through all those lenses. Additionally, at the department, we do compliance reviews to make sure that settlement agreements were completed in compliance with the rules that we have in place to govern these things.
Now let me ask you, is there one person specifically responsible for the oversight?
I would submit to you that from each of our administrations, we have a responsibility across the leadership team to look at and review settlement agreements.
Are audits being taken place, and are they available to the public?
I'm not really sure what you mean by audits. Certainly the costs have to be monitored by the individual administration because the costs come out of their operating budgets. But I don't exactly know what you mean by auditing a settlement agreement.
Is this information available to the public?
Generally, not.
Okay, we'll get on to the next question. Ms. Bradley, when these payouts occur, do the funds come from the central office operation budget, or does it come from that particular facility?
I'm going to turn that over to my colleagues from VHA and VBA.
So, Mr. Congressman, in my former role, I served as the CFO for VBA, and I can tell you that settlement agreements come out of our operating funds. So our very precious operating funds that we use to adjudicate claims. So again, the reason why we take these things seriously and make sure that we have all the I's dotted and T's crossed is because it comes out of the same funds that we use.
It comes from the central office's operation funds, is that correct?
It comes from our operating account, that's correct. We like to revert
from the individual facility?
It depends on the size of the agreement, but in general, it comes from our general operating expense account, so from our main appropriation.
Are any of the you have any concerns that funds diverted from these facilities, if it comes from the particular facility, could negatively impact veterans receiving care at that particular facility?
So let me address that from VHA as a prior medical center director. Those funds come directly from the individual medical center's operating funds, and consequently, the medical center directors that work in consultation with the attorneys look very hard at every decision to make certain that it's a good business decision because it is so important because it is coming out of the medical center's funds. So the direct answer to your question concerning where those dollars come from is in VHA from the medical center level.
And if I could add to that, so I understand your point is, gosh, this money is coming out of operating budget accounts, and that could harm veterans. But it's a business decision, so you have to evaluate how much are you spending in settling the case versus how much money would need to be spent to adjudicate it all the way to final resolution. Like, what are all the expenses associated with litigating the case? That's the business decision that these gentlemen and other leaders in VHA, VBA, and cemeteries have to make. So it's not just simply what would the settlement cost, it's what would this cost us to litigate for some number of months or years.
Well, again, that point is well taken. However, I'm concerned that there's not enough oversight, and you don't have one particular individual appointed to oversee these settlement agreements. So I'd like to work with you on that. I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Ms. Brownlee, you're next.